Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for adults with migraine with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents, on average, 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Ask your doctor and visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Everything you learned in history class was a lie. Well, maybe not everything, but they skipped the best parts. Introducing Stupiracy, where stupidity meets conspiracy. Ever heard of the Olympic marathon that nearly killed its runners? Or the time a pope put another pope's corpse on trial? Join me, Scott Rizzuto, and Tim McKernan as we uncover the most outrageous historical moments and mind-blowing conspiracies you won't believe actually happened. Tune in to Stupiracy for your weekly dose of historical absurdity. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, history is dumb, but laughing at it is smart.
Are you sad that another Twin season is gone?
This one, I'm kind of happy that it's gone. It was hard to, when you're eliminated by Mother's Day, it kind of takes the fun out of it.
It does.
I really found this team dreadfully uninteresting.
I agree with that.
And,
they would have been had Buxton been on the team for the vast majority of the year.
Sure, he would have had an all-star game starter or something like that. And Polanco had a terrific year, knocking in 98 runs, and he's a good enough guy, but no problems were solved during this year.
Is Baldelli safe? He's coming back, I take it.
I think the fact that he just became a father and he's Mr. Positive, they don't want to fire a new dad. So, but these guys fired Paul Molitor out of nowhere. So
a year after he won the American League Manager of the Year.
Yes, and they had a terrible season, obviously. But no, they didn't have that bad a season. That team was...
No, they were last place. They were...
No, they weren't. Not that team.
Oh, I thought they were.
Not 18.
Oh, okay.
Not 18. They were...
What must they fix?
Pitching.
Starting pitching.
Here's the problem. Starting, you got... If you give credit to Ober and this Joe Ryan kid... As being two starters, you still need three. I mean, Michael Pineda's been okay, but the guy weighs. If Sano's going to lose 30, Pineda ought to lose 50, and he can't get to the finish line. He'll, if he's in your rotation, he'll make 22 starts maximum. But they don't have any. All their top pitching prospects didn't pitch. Louis Varlin is the only pitcher that pitched, the kid from North St. Paul, and was the minor league pitcher of the year. But they don't have starters that are young starters that are ready to go, and they don't have a shortstop. They don't want to move Polanco back. We don't know if Kirilloff. We didn't get to see enough of Kirilloff. Larnach had to go back to the minors. They didn't solve many problems this year. And Jeffers, the kid catcher we all liked, he had 200. So I
just want to see an attitude change.
Well,
I want to win today's game.
More aggressive?
Yes, win today's game
and apply the Reusse Suchere standard for whether you're going to play today. Mm-hmm. Do you feel good enough to play? Mm-hmm. You're not. It's not. Do you feel 100%? Do you feel 90%? None of that percent crap. Do you feel good enough to play?
You see now, if
you're good enough to play,
Then play.
You're playing.
If that question was posed to me before each and every Garage Logic show, I'd be out every. You feel good enough to do the show?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Well, that's what they say. I don't know if I should play or not.
Well, you're still looking for that elusive 100%. Is the trouble. If we waited for you to be 100% as a producer back in the days, we would have never got on the air.
No, luckily I snuck through the back door.
Your standard was to be better than Joey D.
Yes,
So
yes. So far, so good. I hope. I don't know. Day by day.
It was close at times.
Day by
but
day.
yeah, we got to, Rocco had a quote today among the babbling. There was one quote. Maybe I should have been a little more confrontive. Was the suggestion when things weren't going well. Instead of trying to use sugar. Maybe he didn't use this. He should have used a little vinegar, and that's got to be coming from upstairs, right?
Okay.
If he's expressing that's got to be coming up from upstairs.
But isn't that the whole reason they went and got Donaldson to kind of rattle the cage a little bit? And
Well, I think people want to rip him, and it's goofy that they spent $92 million for him, but he had a pretty good year. You know, he played most of the time. He played 120 games or so, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, we just didn't really nothing. Joe, there was the ALS. I did a little chart today on Twitter. Number of plus 500 teams in your division, and the AL East had 4.
That's true. Yep.
And then there were a couple of 3s and a couple of 2s, and there was a 1, the AL Central, and our boys were last in the division that had one 500 team in it. So that's a bad sign. That means that you played 57 of your games against other under 500 teams from your division.
The other thing baseball really, in my opinion, needs to fix is the fact that 5 or 6 teams intentionally try to tank every year. I think that's a problem for the game. I really do.
Yes, but then again, when it does them no good, that's their problem. The Orioles now Arizona didn't try to tank; they just stunk.
True.
And Baltimore's been tanking now for about 3 years. Baltimore lost 100. Baltimore and Arizona both lost 110.
The final Twin statistics do not include a statistic I would like.
Games played. Yes, I saw those today, and we didn't have games played.
I take it Polanco played more games than anyone else because he had the most at bats, 588.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah, we should have had that in there. But there's a quote from Rocco in there about the great year that Polanco and Buxton had. Well, Polanco had a great year.
Buxton had a great
Buxton
month.
had a great 40% of the season. There's a big. You can't put those two guys in the same category.
Have you changed your stance on Buxton?
My stance on Buxton is I would hate to be running a team and be forced to make the decision on whether to give him $100 million or not. I mean, I think it's an impossible decision.
Yep, I do too.
You need him, but
you can't trust him.
If you pay him and he fouls the ball off his toe, and
he's too frail.
He missed 37 games with a sore hip. That was the end for me. He got hurt running to first base.
I thought it was decelerating. He had a problem
decelerating.
He couldn't slow down.
He couldn't decelerate. And as I said, we don't want him to slow down.
Speed up.
We want him to. He's the fastest man in baseball, and that's what we want.
Get there.
Yes, decelerate. Yeah, that was Rocco's bet. Maybe next year he won't talk about deceleration. I don't know.
What was his? What kept him out earlier in the year?
We had three stints.
Right.
The last one was a broken.
Oh, he had a
finger.
broken finger.
But
I said put a popsicle stick on it.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was another 30 games. Yeah, 30 games. What was the first one? He got hurt in May 3rd.
He was American League Player of the Month for April.
And then
he hurt the foot, I thought, in May.
Fouled the ball off his foot. Broke a toe or something.
I think
don't
so.
know. I think he did so. That's right. And then he had his first rehab in St. Paul. I went over for that first rehab, and then he played 2 games and had another rehab, and then,
I can't remember.
I don't know. It's an impossible
That's a tough decision
to make.
You hate to let them go and then watch them excel for 10 years somewhere.
I didn't see these. I only read the descriptions of them, but apparently he had 2 home runs in Kansas City that were just monstrous.
I saw one on, was that yesterday or was it Saturday? I can't remember which day, but he absolutely destroyed that pitch. Holy cow.
I did see one on Friday.
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. I think it might have been Friday night.
But here's the good news. As a role model to all of us Tubs, Miguel is going to lose 30.
There we go.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Miguel's going to lose 30. If Miguel loses 30, I'm going to be shamed into not putting any more on anyway. I'm going to be shamed into something if Miguel loses 30.
To hell with it, and let's trade Miguel to the Vikings where he can play guard. That's what I want to see happen.
Yeah, he might be big enough to be a left tackle.
Is it possible that there was only one 20-game winner in all of baseball?
Yes, that's true. The left-hander from the Dodgers.
Good God in heaven.
Well, I don't. How many 200-inning pitchers? There might have been 3 or 4.
Innings pitched.
Yes.
No 200 innings pitched in the American League, and innings pitched 213 for Wheeler of Philadelphia, 207 for Buehler of L.A., and Wainwright for St. Louis had 206 innings pitched.
And he is 40 now? Did he just turn 40?
Because I was reading a piece on how he resigned for another year with the Birds.
With all the discuss there, Joe, the playoffs worked out pretty good for the you got the 2 most historic franchise, 2 of the 3 most historic franchises in the National League. I don't put the Cubs in that class because they've lost too often. The Cardinals and the Dodgers in that wild card, and then you got the Red Sox and the Yankees. And these Toronto Blue Jays had a plus 183 runs differential and didn't make the playoffs.
Wow.
Very, very good team, didn't make the playoffs. Now, when it's all said and done next year, this idiot Manfred, if they ever get back to playing, is going to try to have 7 teams in the playoffs and ruin this whole
I saw
deal.
this on Saturday because I was also monitoring the stats, just kind of seeing where things were at. Do you know that in the American League, only 5 qualifying players had a batting average of 300 or more?
Wow.
Yes.
5.
Yeah, it's back to... there was back in the dead ball era before the DH. I think Yaz won the batting title at 301.
Really?
Yeah, but this is almost getting there. It's
and that's a big problem because the lack of action is really killing the younger audience. Just doesn't watch baseball, and it's because of that. It's because there's so much inactivity that goes on throughout the course of the game.
Buxton hit 306, but he didn't play.
No, he didn't. Yeah, you have to average 3.1 plate appearances for 162 games, which is 502, I believe. You have to have 502 plate appearances to be a qualified.
Okay.
How about the San Francisco Giants, though, Joe? The organization.
You've been marveling them all summer.
They came into existence in 1883 as the New York Goliaths. Mm-hmm. Now, it wasn't until the early 1900s that they started playing 154-game schedules. And they won, in 1904, they won 106 games because they were the powerhouse of the New York Giants. They beat that record yesterday, 107 wins. And they had to win on the last day to win the division because the Giant Dodgers won 106.
Wow.
And the Dodgers have this ungodly, expensive collection of superstars. And these guys got Lamont Wade Jr. and Darren Ruff and Mike Yastrzemski, the grandson, and who's hitting 220 and it's unbelievable how they won 107
Does this mean
games.
that Gabe Kapler is a managing genius? Is that
It's certainly smarter than he was in Philadelphia when they couldn't wait to run him out of there.
Yeah.
But they platoon a lot, and they try to keep 15 position players, and they platoon a lot and substitute a lot and use the bullpen a lot. And
God, I hope the Birds take down the Dodgers in the wild card. I think that'd be great. Baseball would hate it.
If Seattle had won yesterday and Boston lost, would Seattle have been the wild card?
See, they would have tied and had a playoff game.
Yeah,
they would have tied and had a playoff game. And if the Red Sox had lost and they were behind 5-1 early to Washington, then they would have had a playoff game with the Blue Jays because But Seattle lost their last two.
I was rooting for the Jays, man. I really wanted to see them.
Yeah, I did too. There's a great lineup. But anyway.
Pat, both papers today regarding the Vikings said, to some effect, is it time to panic? I think yes.
Yes, it is time to panic.
Yes.
Yes, it is time
1
to
and
panic.
3 is a good time to panic?
Yeah, I think so.
I got to say something. I had this thought, though, Joe. When we were in our youth, when we were both young sport writers, and Bud was in town, right? And Bud was like God. If we could have put Bud on the state seal, and everybody would have, have
Replace the golden horses on the Capitol.
Had the Native American riding the horse, and have the plowman, and then have Bud staring at us. And,
He dictated our behavior as a
Yes, he
state.
did.
Yeah.
But remember how gloomy and quiet people were on Monday after the Vikings lost? I mean, not a Super Bowl, just
A regular
September
season.
23rd game. It would just, people would not talk around the office, and they were just walking the streets.
It was a somber.
And nobody
Okay.
wanted to.
Okay.
People don't. I mean, they get agitated, but it's not like Viking defeats now ruin people's days like they used to.
I think some
People, there are some
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
I mean, there are some crazies, but
The poor being one of
but
them.
I'm talking about the population.
Sure.
Back in the 70s and until things.
I don't think it means as much.
No, it doesn't. I don't either. I think it's the world moves too fast to dwell too long on it.
And the same with the Gophers. I don't think it means much.
Well, we managed to win a game at Purdue in which Purdue ran 86 plays and managed to score 13 points. How'd that happen?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. We were
didn't watch
vacationing, and so I was listening to a
yes.
lot of it on the radio, and Joe is right. The Grimmer squeezes a lot of reeds in between them
I
plays,
hear it's
man.
unbelievable.
It's terrible.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Everybody, Joe complained, and then I said something about, when that game couldn't be on.
Oh,
Nobody could find the
Bowling
game.
Green game.
One of them.
Sure.
No, the Colorado game.
Oh, that's right,
was
because they were on
the-
Pac-12. That's right.
And everybody says you can't listen to the radio because it's all ads.
Yeah.
So
But he's a smooth operator, man. He goes right
I
from
like
the play right to the.
I like the Grimster,
Yeah.
but who's?
Oh, he's fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's not his fault. Whose idea is that?
I don't know. They oversold it.
I don't know. I can't answer
That
that.
tackle was brought to you by. I mean, it's just
Oh,
endless.
it's that bad?
Well, it's not the tackle.
The third tackle of the game brought to you by,
Wow.
whatever.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That was a fun game to have on TV, though. It was pouring.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did
yeah.
watch it.
That
I
was
did
a
watch it.
hard rain that was falling there at
She
the
was
end.
a little sprinkly in New England last night too. Did you see any of that? The Sunday night I was driving. It almost looked like snow there for a while. So that's
I thought Belichick was going to pull it off. I crashed at halftime.
why
I
the
couldn't
hell
stay.
did he try a 56-yard field goal in the driving rain?
I don't know.
I mean, it was 4th and 3. Try to get a first down, but I don't know. I only watched the fourth quarter of that one. So.
My favorite part of that game, though, was there was a lot of hype, going into the big old Sunday night tilt, and the Patriots fans all have their old Brady jerseys on, and they're cheering him. He takes the field for the first possession, and they booed the hell out of him. It was fantastic.
Yeah, they did. Everybody came out and said, "Yay!" Then he came into the huddle and they booed him. Yeah. That was really weird,
I
man.
thought that was pretty funny.
But how would you like to pay your $2,000 to scalp the ticket and then sit out there in the driving rain with one of those plastic hoodies that they sell you for about $20
poncho?
when you
Yeah.
got the poncho? We like the most sales we ever did at Hubbard from the State Fair was we. Pray for rain, baby. Those ponchos are coming up flying out of there for $3 a piece.
The best is that one afternoon we were sitting there on the front porch and you were taunting people. Hey, buddy, there's ponchos on the back.
Yeah, don't sit out there and get wet. Come on. We need the $3.
You cheap SOB, get your $3. and
They
get
were a
poncho.
one-use item, weren't they? I don't know anyone who saved their poncho.
You did not.
I did. I folded it back up and put it in the bag. Did you ever see us leaving here, Pat? I'm going to show you this.
Those ponchos were $3 and they were overpriced. That was a bad excuse.
Well, the very first day we were out there this past year, Rook, Joe, John Height, and I had to utilize the poncho because we got rained on pretty good that first day being out at the Minnesota State Fair.
We did. And it looked like
We looked like we were going to a meeting.
Klansmen are
that was this year?
That was this year.
Yes. Oh, God.
Someone decided that the white poncho outfit was a good idea.
Yeah.
And the pointed hats, it just, you know what? I didn't feel right walking through the fair.
I lost all faith in our sales decisions, though, when they made us stop selling the Not Elite T-shirts. Wasn't it? Didn't it say Not Elite?
Well, I thought we were told that we had to do that outside of the company. I believe we were told that.
Well, we were told that we sold 50, and we were told not to sell anymore because the Gophers didn't like it.
Okay.
We had a shirt that
choked.
said "Not Elite."
Yeah, that was my shirt that year. Was the first year PJ.
I still have mine.
Wasn't it? Didn't it say Not Elite?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were always looking to agitate, and that. You know what the Gopher Hole wimps did? These are these people who they're Gopher fans, but Heather Fleck. After
That's the missus?
That's the missus. And she went after me once, which is hard to believe because I'm such a good guy. But well, she went after me because at a Wild playoff game, they had PJ show up between the second and third period on the video board tape. Let's go. And I just said on Twitter. And that was the year they got shut out, the last two games of the season. I said, and nothing changed because the Wild didn't score either, just like his team. But it was just a little. Well, anyway, Heather went after me. But anyway, that was fine. Why are you such a terrible person? And blah, blah, blah. A guy who works so hard.
Where do I begin?
A guy who works. And my answer was balance. But anyway. but so she was very upset because there was some criticism at the after the Bowling Green, and apparently some of it addressed to her and PJ's children from the first wife when they were leaving, and so she went on Instagram and put out this ripping the fans and being mad, and also pointing out how PJ spends so many hours away from the children. He can't be with his kids because, he spends so many hours away, making $4.5 million. But anyway, so they posted that on Gopher Hole. I didn't see it, but then she started getting criticized.
It was turning on her?
Well, she took down the Instagram and they contacted Gopher Hole, and they deleted it. They deleted it. So that's some.
If you mouth off like that, though, you can't.
Yeah.
You gotta fix
Somebody's.
Hey, how about the behavior of Urban Meyer?
He still got it.
He had to know he would be photographed.
Well, his explanation was he was just visiting some friends and went to
he
dinner.
Probably should have left early.
And then he should have left early, and then all of a sudden this good-looking young lady was over there dancing between his legs. What was he supposed to do about it? But he's disappointed in himself.
Hut.
And he's apologized to his family and his friends and everything. But he's saying, did you see the stuff today, Joe? He's saying, I hope the players will still listen to me when I'm telling them what not to do.
I think they'll have his ear.
Yeah.
Especially if he tries to talk about that night. They will have his ear, or he'll have their ears.
Where was this bar, Coach? Yeah, what bar was this that we should have been going to?
What was that guy?
I have a feeling that Urban's realizing that the NFL is a tad different than college football, where he could probably get away with a bit more coaching college football.
If he's doing that in Columbus, they're going to ignore it when he's winning. So, yeah. But where was it? Was he back in Columbus?
Well, they played the Bengals, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He's Jacksonville, right?
Right, he's the Jacksonville head coach.
That's right. Okay, he was there.
So he's in Cincinnati for these photos.
Right.
Yes,
I love how they
Wait
say.
a minute. Why wasn't he on the plane with the team?
Joe, that's an excellent
now,
point.
words
he
have
didn't
meaning.
fly back because he wanted to visit some
family was his quote.
But the word people are using is he abandoned his team. As if they couldn't go back to Jacksonville without him. He abandoned his team for a lap dance.
I guarantee he does not make it to the end of this year.
And if he doesn't, he ain't going to Southern Cal either because because of the lap dancing with young women, that's not going to play.
Okay,
either.
what college will say, woohoo, we'll take him because of the lap dance?
Oh, somebody
SEC.
will take him. Yeah. Somebody will take him.
Yeah, if somebody leaves Mississippi or something like that, then.
Well, Lane Kiffin. What if Lane Kiffin goes back to USC? Then he can have the Ole Miss job.
Lane won't go back to Kansas. But if PJ gets the job, you think Lane would come up? Yeah, Lane won't come here anymore. No. He's got a better job in Mississippi than he has here. So.
Although, did you see our gal Jamie Erdahl interviewed Mr. Kiffin before they got edged by Alabama, and she said, "So, what do you tell your team, or what do you tell fans when you prepare to play the number one team in the country?" And he says, "Get your popcorn ready," as in we're gonna go get them. And they got just destroyed.
Well, he's done pretty good down there, and they're in the top 7 or 8 in recruiting all the time.
Are they really?
Too. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Which Lane might say, "Yeah, we can do that. We can take care of that.
Yeah,
we can
do
that.
Don't
worry. You don't have to drive that 7-year-old Oldsmobile. We'll be good."
You weren't here for it, Patrick, but in the Garage Logic podcast that we recorded, I came to the conclusion that I will never and have never been, and I'll never be, a high-achieving student. Because that came up.
That's accurate.
Joe was really too quick probably to agree with that. But I also...
all I said was it's too late.
Right. That hurt too.
What are you doing?
But what I'm saying now is... I feel kind of bad, again, because a Sports Talk alum like Jamie Erdahl is, a national exposure.
We let her stop. We didn't take full advantage of her talents. We told her to send out certificates for the sports
person of the week. And
she must have thought, how quickly can I get the hell out of here?
She got out of here pretty quick. She did, but I'm just realizing that I'm still here. It's been 30 years. It's
how do you think we'd feel? We've been here longer than that.
True, that's true. You're making me feel better. Thank you.
Never got the national call, did we?
No, we didn't.
Never got the national call.
No. Would have worked.
Yeah. Would have. We're Minnesotans.
We are standing on the table because no one is calling.
Right.
We've come a long way since we were standing on the table. We did. We're
not going to entertain you.
And we're not going to talk about sports.
No. We'll do what we want to do. I was telling somebody I was on the bus or the fair, and they were talking about these people were talking about the Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
And
my record's intact. I've never been to one.
I said, "Yeah, we were the official station of the Renaissance Festival one year, and they put Puke and Snot on with Joe and I, and we told them they weren't funny."
Yeah. We know funny, Puke,
and
you're not funny.
What a way to treat a client.
We didn't make it to the end of the Renaissance Festival as the official station.
Right.
And you saw that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, because they were afraid to put the rat catcher on with us. If we didn't think Puke and Snot were funny, we weren't going to think the rat catcher was funny.
God, I have a memory of that. They came to the studio.
Out in Maplewood?
Yes.
Well, did we tell them to their face?
We told them to their face.
Usually we only do that behind people's backs.
Usually we hide.
Or when there's a distance or something. Yeah, I think they did. They were all dressed up as
They had their Puke and Snot uniforms on.
Yes. This isn't. Do people like this? This isn't funny.
I did. My wife brought the boys along with my sister-in-law and her 2 kids to the Renaissance Festival a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly the date. And I did inform the 9-year-old that get your arm ready because they have a wall in which a guy dressed as a court jester or whatever sticks his head out to hurl insults at you, and you pay $5 and you get to throw tomatoes at him, and his eyes just lit up really. And then he was too afraid to. He was too afraid. He said, but there were other guys that were doing it, and they were missing. He said, but that was.
So the Great Babu wanted to get me on the Gopher bandwagon, they were raising money for the leukemia lymphoma. She does that.
Okay.
And they wanted me to come over there and sit on a dunk tank.
The dunk tank, sure.
And I said, okay, $2,000 a piece, $10,000. You're going to have to get 5 parties to come up with $2,000 a piece, and then I'll do it. And remember, they wanted to dunk me, but they wanted to be cheap about it.
Who's Babu?
Nadine Babu. She's a Gopher lover. She's
on Twitter.
She's a unique individual. She's in her 40s. She still has big birthday parties and wears a crown and stuff. I mean, she's a different kind of cat, but she's an okay gal. But yeah, I'll come over and let you dunk me, but it's gonna cost you $10,000, and I'm not gonna sit there all day for having some.
We raised $572.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not worth drowning for that. For God's
I
sakes.
remember being a part of a big check presentation along those lines where we had a long fundraising effort that didn't really result.
672?
Yeah, something
maybe
like
not
that.
even that.
What was that for? What were we doing?
That was a while ago.
Okay.
It was a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Rook and I had a little fun with that one.
Speaking of, I am putting the pressure on you guys next time your wife has a landmark birthday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Spiral candles.
We had Katie's had on October 2nd a landmark birthday that we shall not have to speak exactly what we're talking about.
Got it.
Here. Next Wednesday night, Milwaukee, Andrea Bocelli, the blind Italian tenor.
Yeah.
Ponied up for good seats.
Scored?
Ponied up for good seats, paid retail and then some. Ooh. But that's this will get me in good shape for.
Don't
48
hours.
48 hours.
I thought he was going to say days. I was going to say
the trouble is, then we have to drive back from Milwaukee. Well, will we
over.
make it?
It's over. You won't
That
hit
could
the
be an
Dells.
episode of the Game of Flaws.
Yes, right.
You won't hit the Dells.
I have a question for
I'm going to
you.
have a CD that I'll just, if she starts complaining, I'll just hit the CD and Andrea will be singing.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do we still have a missing bratwurst in Golden Valley? It wasn't in a drawer.
And it's now spreading. This legend of the brat spreading. I had Ryan the Riddler from the KSTP.
Yeah.
He said to me, tell me about the bratwurst.
Oh, boy.
Have you found it? I said, no. I looked again. No, we haven't found it. We're going to find it in some corner in the garage.
If it went outside, it's gone. You're cool there.
8 million ants on it.
No, it's not in the house.
No.
If it wasn't in a drawer, you dropped it outside and a rabbit got it or something.
Okay, well, I don't think rabbits eat brats.
Whatever,
but,
squirrel.
But something, well, hopefully, coyote or
It's
something.
the big rat that lives in the garage that got it.
I did see your birthday tweet. And I read it aloud with the group I was staying with. And we all had a good chuckle. No, it just said, happy birthday to Katie D. Every day she gets to beam with delight over being hitched to me.
Yes, that's right. Beams with delight.
Wow.
Beamed with delight. I had to term it.
That
just
got
the
me
right
a little
way.
chuckle.
And my brother-in-law, David Onan, same birthday. Good guy.
October 2nd?
Yep, good guy. Yep. You know what he was doing on his birthday? Riding horses at Yellowstone.
Wow.
Over the mountains
yeah.
and stuff like that. He's one
No,
of those.
that would have been a great gift for her next milestone for you.
I do like him, but he can fix stuff.
Okay.
He builds.
Does that bother you?
He builds stuff.
Yeah.
They got a lake place, and he builds a.
You making a dog box?
He makes a dog house.
You make a pitched roof?
He makes a dog house. The dog can't pull it down the block. I guarantee you.
I thought you were innovative. You build a house a dog can take with him.
That's
The
right.
first ever animal mobile home.
That's right.
That's right. Oh God, it is really a sad deal that when you got to go to your wife and say, "How do I?" I had to get her to open the spray and wash for me the other day. I said, "How do you?" I said, "I'm squirting this thing and nothing's happening." And she said, "Well, there's a little red
On and
thing
off.
here.
You got to twist that over just a little bit, hon. Just a little bit, dear.
Yeah.
Really excited for that concert.
I can top that. She brings home these little containers of ham salad and tuna salad.
Oh yes.
I can open it once and then close it. I can't open it the
They're
second time. I need two tools. I need a tweezers and another tweezers.
Keep separating.
Then she would take it from me and say,
You just go
can't
like
say
this.
what she
Boom,
said.
yeah.
She just go,
You know what's vastly underrated by much of America? The ham salad.
oh, I like him.
Ham salad.
Not
A
underrated with me.
nice
Still out
ham
for me.
salad sandwich. Ooh, yeah. I put that ahead of tuna behind chicken.
Oh, no, I'm tuna's first.
Tuna.
Egg salad.
I got
No, I
tuna
don't do
all the
egg
way.
salad.
Oh, egg salad
God, I
is so
hate
good.
I got tuna all the way down to third.
But
I got
ham
tuna
salad,
number
I don't
one.
really understand what ham and what else.
Yeah, but you put a little,
stuff,
not
I
onion,
don't
a
know what's
little
in there.
greedy.
Pat-
There's some
celery
grease.
or something,
There's some
or-
grease celery,
Pat's
I believe it
sprinkling.
is.
He's sprinkling with his finger. You throw a little thing
It's
in
really
there.
chopped up,
Grab the
fine
knife.
Green,
celery.
something green. It's got the
Celery.
mayonnaise.
Yeah, right. It's good. It's good.
I can't honestly say that I've really had ham salad. I think it's a weird concept. Or what's like an olive spread? Mm-hmm. Too salty.
I like that, too.
Too salty
Oh,
for
yeah,
me.
that's good. You can get it.
You know you can get it? Joey.
By the way, it's official. We had a story in the Star Tribune, Darriette, done October 3rd.
Yep.
It's official.
Kenny Olson didn't
a
believe
bummer.
me when I said I've been there many times.
Yeah.
He said that sounds like BS. But no, I have been there
Yes,
many times.
Yes,
You've
generally
been there.
to pick up.
Yeah.
Better take. I want somebody to have the recipe for the batter,
The chicken.
the chicken batter, where the restaurant's near Golden Valley, but
yeah.
that would be good. But yeah,
Walking away.
that's very sad. Very sad.
I
that they
can't
went on
picture
there.
it. Where is it located? Why can't I picture
Hard
it?
to picture because it's on
Minnehaha, east of it's Johnson Parkway.
Yes. Yeah.
okay.
And then when you're coming in from seeing the grandkids,
Yep.
and then I can't. What's the
Get off on White Bear Avenue.
White Bear Avenue? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show me
And
where
you go
White
down
Bear
left.
Avenue again
Right
is.
here.
Right here.
It's a little circle.
And you two knuckleheads, you're like, where is it? Like, you got to look up at the black ceiling up here. It's right up by the thing there. You go. They look.
That's now when you guys have the video on for the Garage Logic show, the people can get all these.
Yes.
Yeah,
We
they-
should have that for sports
In
talk
fact,
as well.
you reminded me of something,
It is a
Pat.
visual.
Last week I tweeted out a photo because Joe and I were doing something, and he had to write down a code, a 6-digit code. And I looked at the Post-it note that he put
Yeah, I
down.
saw that.
He had to write the number 8, which he's incapable of 3 different times.
Can't make a 3 now or an 8.
And I looked at that.
Well, that's two key letters,
I
two
know.
key numbers.
I looked at him. I said, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
I can't make an 8.
It looked like my 6-year-old was trying to draw a butterfly. I thought, "What is
a
this?"
mangled butterfly.
Oh my God!
It is amazing.
He just kept stabbing it.
I just had a search for my reading glasses out there, and they were on my nose.
Oh, boy,
that's always
I
a
do
bad
hate
sign.
that.
That's a bad sign. That's a bad deal, man. Where the bleep are those? I had this. See, I had this in my hand,
Yeah.
and I said, where the hell are those reading glasses? Looking
But you
around.
haven't forgotten what they're for.
That's right.
Distinction.
What are these
right.
damn things for?
That be worrisome.
Hey, I know it's early, but you guys did see that 4 of the top 5 college hockey teams are from the great state of Minnesota, including my
who's,
Mavs
the
at
Husky-
number 1.
Mavs number 1, Huskies 2.
Huskies are 2.
The Huskies had no problem with the Tommies
Yes,
on
but
game
the-
1.
but
Then they
the
made a
Tommies
game of
came
it the
back
second
and
game.
Only lost. I got a hunch the Tommies went to a conservative style in the second game after getting beat 12-2.
Will that take long for them to get decent? The Tommy's hockey.
You know, Micheletti thinks they're going to that they'll be because they can give scholarships for hockey. They're
They
not
can.
giving them for football, but they can give them for hockey. He thinks they'll do fine because they'll get the suburban kid that the Gopher doesn't.
Well, I
get.
kind of look at them on par with what Penn State was able to do. Is that fair? Just because of where they can draw
well,
from.
they gotta get some. They can't impress people by taking them to their arena and say you want to come and play here in this high school arena that holds 1,000 people. Sure, I think they're going to. Try to build a hockey arena. That's what I keep hearing. But I don't know where.
grounds?
Unless those members at Town and Country sell them that land, I don't know what the hell or where they're going to put it.
Why? I mean, I'm not. No.
No. Who would,
doing?
you know some guys there.
Yeah,
you
I
know
do.
some guys there who would. Maybe they could sell them the driving range. That could fit.
It's
right
not
in
much of a
there.
range.
Yeah, it'd fit right in there. No, I don't. Tell me, Rook, you're an expert on that area. Over there, behind where the seminary is and the softball field is and stuff. And
Then it goes
is
down the
there
field to the
is-
grotto.
If they got rid of some of that stuff, could they build a hockey area? You probably can't slap her in front of the grotto, huh? We had to pull the grotto out to put a hockey arena in.
No, they wouldn't, because there is a nice sloped hill which is full of trees, which there's no way they're going to give that up and let them build an arena there. But there's enough room.
Well, what if they move the
But
softball
the size
field?
of the arena is going to be the key. You can put a Drake arena there, but it doesn't fit anybody.
No, they want they want 4,000 or 5,000 people. 4,000.
That's
people.
it?
4 or 5. Yeah, 5,000. They'll be happy with that. Yeah.
Well, I would think D1 regulations would call for more than
there's
that.
a lot of them that small.
Well, Penn State's arena's not that big.
And aren't
It's
there
about the same.
D1 regulations that your buildings have to be a certain distance from campus?
Oh, you mean you can't have them?
You can't build your hockey rink in Chaska.
I don't think there's any regulations of that. I mean, Hamlin's, baseball field is CHS Field.
Well, plus Mankato plays hockey downtown. They're not on campus. The Mavs.
Boy, did the Gophers raid poor Hamlin's hockey program for the girls. Not only did they take Natalie Darwitz, they took her number one assistant for the Gopher women's team. Yeah, and then they lost their men's coach too. To I think I don't know if it was the Gophers or somebody. He left too. So poor Hamlin. They were trying to make a push in hockey, and no, what the hell? I don't know.
We finally have a Wild game on TV, but you got to have the NHL Network.
Really, you got it.
I don't. Do I? I have no idea.
Yes, you do. You have it.
Oh,
you have it.
Just say it into the microphone.
You have it.
Yeah.
By the way,
no. Actually, this week you get 2 games on Fox Sports North or whatever it's called now. Bayou.
BS.
BSN.
N.
Yeah.
You got to go
BS.
N. Yes. So, but they got both the Timberwolves and the Wild on tonight. So the Timberwolves are debuting with the new determined chip on his shoulder, Cat.
Oh boy,
Cat's got the chip on his shoulder. One reason being he's only making $190 million. So that's he's got the chip on his shoulder.
Everybody doubted us. No one gave us a chance.
Yes, right.
I heard a great line. He's very balanced. He's got chips on both shoulders.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he's we don't know why he has it. He's got a chip on his shoulder because one of his buddies is Devin Booker, and Devin took his team to the NBA Finals, right, against the Bucks, and he's mad because he didn't help his team even make the playoffs. So that's
when do those guys start their regular season?
End of October, I believe.
I was going to say it's usually around Halloween.
Yeah. But this
tell
hockey.
Me when the Wild start the regular
October
season.
13th.
13th.
At Colorado,
that's
right?
A week
no,
from
at
Wednesday.
Anaheim, I think.
It's a week from this Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, they started then. Once we never get to open at home. How come we don't get to open at home? Mm-hmm. We're always on the road. Colorado, Anaheim, something like that. I think it's a normal schedule, though, this year, right? You don't get to play the same division every game like you did last year.
No, I think it's back to normal.
So last year, did the season start late because of COVID?
Oh, yeah. 55 games.
So the 2021 season didn't get going until January.
I think January.
Yeah.
So this is the 21-22 season. It's going to be a regular season.
It's only a pushback a week. Even a team like the Wild that got beat early, they didn't have much of an off season, these guys. And here's the thing, Joe. They're starting a week late, and they're taking 2 weeks off for the Olympics. They're going to have some weeks where they're playing 5 games. Mm-hmm. To try to get done at a decent time.
2 of the top 3 men in yesterday's Twin Cities Marathon are named Mohammed. You got the number 1 guy was Mohammed Reusse from Philadelphia, and the number 3 guy was Mohammed Badi of St. Paul.
Well, if you watch the Olympics in distance running, ever since the guy from Ethiopia, what was his name? In the 70s.
Igwe Wike?
They have been very dominant, the Ethiopians and the Liberians and those fellas. Because you know what they do? They hang out in the mountains. They got the mountains. They got livestock there. They got to run them down. Run for miles. They don't think anything of running 30, man.
Plus, it's free.
Plus, they're skinny.
Right. They don't need
skinny.
helmet and spikes. And,
You know what I was humorously attempting to run there.
Yeah, you're a marathoner,
When
yeah.
I first
Entry
sobered,
level.
when I first sobered up, that should have been my first hint that sobriety wasn't all it was cracked up to be. But anyway.
you're going to be a marathoner.
And I remember my friend Sadler. You remember Sadler? He's totally mildly
Bitter
insane.
guy.
Totally mildly insane,
Right.
but sober.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was explaining to me, he said, if you want to be a runner, you have to have legs so that the fat doesn't
Chafing. No chafing.
You don't. You
Skinny
can't,
thighs.
You can't be colliding. Your interior of your legs can't be colliding with
Right,
each other
right.
when you run.
That would hurt.
And with those Ethiopians, they don't collide. They got very
room.
different. Yeah, right. It makes it easier to run if you're not going.
Right. And you know what you didn't have? You didn't have room.
No, I still didn't have room. Even when I got as skinny as I could possibly get, I still was going. You know how I quit?
What's that noise?
I was over running up the hill, sort of the incline.
Not picture you running up any
incline
hill
like
over
this.
Theodore Worth.
Yeah.
You know, over by Theodore
Yeah.
Worth, the road that goes up there. And
The road that goes
there
up
was there was a woman running in front of me. There were two women running in front of me, and one of them had herself a rear end, man. It was
Okay.
big rear end.
Yep. Big girl.
And I was running behind her and laughing almost to myself. And then I realized I wasn't gaining any ground. And I said, that's it.
I'm done.
That's it. I can't.
I have put a stop to this
I
training
can't
program.
I can't catch Moose Goheen up here, so that's it. I'm done.
He was like Forrest. That's it. I'm done running. I'm done running.
Oh,
Just stop.
What a name. My old neighbor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was Moose's real name?
Francis?
Francis. That's right, Francis.
Francis Xavier.
Wow. You know, that was a reasonably popular name, Francis, back in the day, and Xavier. That's
Skate faster backwards than most people could forward.
he was wasn't it the 20s when he started, in the 20s, 30s? He was
a
mean,
lineman
Halsey-
he was an electrical lineman.
yeah, it's amazing.
living.
These guys who were fantastic athletes.
Yep.
And then what'd you do for a living
Yeah,
after
what'd you
you were
do
done
I think
playing?
it's Francis Xavier.
Yeah.
Look it up, please.
October
Goheen,
5th.
Goheen.
October 15th against Anaheim.
October
for the Wild.
15th.
Yes.
That's a
I thought it was
Friday night.
13th. I looked it up. I thought it was the 13th.
Francis Goheen. I bet it's Xavier.
Oh, do you want this year's? Kidding.
Well, here, I got a computer. I can
Moose
do it.
Goheen. Goheen.
Moose Goheen.
So he lived out in the St. Paul or out on the lake?
Francis
Summer
Xavier
cottage in White Bear.
Moose Goheen.
I was
yes.
right. Francis
Francis
Xavier.
And when was his long? It was the 20s, right? 20s and 30s.
He was born February 8th, 1894.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. Let me just scroll down here, see what his stats are.
Halsey used to just never been a better hockey player than Moose Goheen.
When did he die, Rook?
Well, he 1922 to 1932 with the St. Paul Saints.
Yep.
And we lost him in 79 at age 85.
79, huh?
And, yeah, so he got up there on the pole and fixed electrical wires.
Yeah, for
He
probably
was a lineman
for
the
Northern
county.
States Power back
Yeah.
then, NSP.
I think those were good jobs.
His kid, Johnny Goheen, was a hell of a hockey player.
Is that right?
Yep.
So did Mrs. Moose and him have a bunch of kids, or nice?
so.
Would Mrs. Goheen bake cookies for the Suture kids? Or
All I
anything like
know, all I remember is every time I caught a fish, my old man would say, "Walk it over there and show it to Moose," because Moose would be at the end of his
Oh,
dock.
Moose would be fishing all the
Yeah, I
time.
said, well, take that over and show it to Moose.
Really quick before you have to go to the bank, Joe. The Daily Caller's an account that I follow. They are right-leaning, but they post some pretty funny videos, including they sent a female reporter to the Washington Women's March that took place. Was it yesterday or Saturday?
Oh, did we have one?
I think it was Saturday.
I think it was Saturday. And the question that was on the table was, who's worse, the GOP or the Taliban? The answers are quite horrifying,
Tied,
but pretty funny.
Pretty much a tie.
Yeah, pretty much a tie. Some of them are siding, though, with the Taliban. I was listening to a little bit, and wow, it's pretty funny and terrifying at the same time.
Well,
Do they mention anything about people with ligma?
No, don't go down that road again. We got the show Reusse that one once Joe has to go to the bank.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to go to the bank?
I think I might.
Very good. All right, see ya.
EcoFun has e-bikes in stock. And why is that important? Because every other bike retailer is out of stock and will not be getting new e-bikes until December or January. You can't even get one for Christmas from them. The weather is warming up, so if you are in the market for an e-bike, scooter, or ATV, go to EcoFun right now. EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake. Talk with Tim Bloom, the owner of EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake. Tim and his family will help you select the e-bike that is right for you, and they will deliver it to your front door in the metro area. Right now, EcoFun has Bentelli e-bikes and Yamaha Motor Assist bikes in stock. EcoFun also carries the full line of Yamaha scooters, motorcycles, and a wide variety of Yamaha ATVs, including ATVs for kids. Check out EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake and online at ecofunmotorsports.com and tell Tim that old bicycler Patrick Reusse sent you.
Hey, GLers, it's Reavers here once again for Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. And as you've been hearing over the course of the last couple of months, Josh asks you one simple question, and that's always, do you know what you own? You see, Josh's clients, they always know what they own, and Josh has found that most people that he meets with every single day, well, they don't. They absolutely have no idea. Josh has also seen retirement portfolios that have a big percentage in bonds, and there are real instances of people paying more in commissions and fees than they can possibly make on the rate of return that those bonds currently yield. So Josh begs of you, know what you own. And you'll hear from Mr. Money Talk later today here in Garage Logic to give you a specialized report on the goings-on in the market today. Trust is often overused, and it's even harder to find. Please, you can take it from me that you can trust Josh. So give him a call today for that free 48-minute financial consultation, and you do so by calling 952-925-5608. Once again, that's 952-925-5608 for Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold.
This is Patrick Reusse for The Canopy Group. Your kids are back in school, and when they get home, they do their homework, or they're supposed to do their homework. Why don't you do your homework? You have been with that same home and auto insurance company that has only one agent who represents only one insurance company for years. You deserve options. Let's face it, your insurance needs change as the years go by. Insurance companies' rates certainly change as the years go by. That is why the Canopy Group provides you with 16 options, not 16. Don't tell your kids, but you can outsource your homework to the Canopy Group. They will teach you how they find the best insurance coverage for the best price, not only today, but each and every year. Contact the Canopy Group at 800-967-3389 or visit thecanopygroup.com and let them do the homework for you.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. It's crazy to think that a few weeks ago we were talking about whether or not Tua Tagovailoa should consider retiring. After 2 concussions and worldwide debates on player safety and NFL culpability, Tua has done nothing but go back to work and currently has the Dolphins riding a 3-game win streak and 1 loss behind the division favorite Buffalo Bills. While everyone was yapping about the end of his career, Tua Tagovailoa said he'll decide when it's time. And clearly, he's not ready to hang up the cleats. Hi, this is Chris Howard from the Plugged In with Chris Howard podcast. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for betting football and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting, up-to-the-minute scores for the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including the MLB playoffs, the start of the NHL season, MMA, boxing, and golf. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those at BetOnline as well. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts.